Hello, everybody. Hey, Gustavo.
Hello, Guillaume. I
We're
think
happy to
I'm
have you
getting
back.
better.
We're happy to have
I'm
you
getting
back
better.
on.
I'm getting better at pronouncing your name, right?
Yeah, correct. So we're happy to have you back on the Innovation Strategy blog. And today we're about to talk about how to become a business angel when you're broke. Because my understanding is that you need a lot of capital to be a business angel. There's a big difference between a venture capitalist who invests other people's money and a business angel who's actually investing his own money. And a friend of mine is a business angel, and he's sometimes working in Silicon Valley. And he told me that if you want to invest in a Y Combinator startup, the minimum ticket was about $1 million. Well, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't have $1 million. At least I don't, unfortunately.
Not yet.
So not yet, right? So my question to you, Gustavo, is how do you become a business angel when you're broke?
Okay, that's a great question, and I'm the living proof because I'm definitely not filthy rich, and I found my way into becoming a business angel. And I'll try to make it as simple and as accessible as possible for everyone who's interested in following a similar path. So what I would, first, you need to have your own motivations of why you want to become a business angel and what you're getting out of it, besides the return, of course, but that's not the topic of today's conversation. And once you're clear on your motivation and what you can add to the companies and what you get from the companies, because that's an exchange relationship in which both sides grow, you actually need a way to get into doing that. And let's start from the absolute bottom, and then we move up into the ladder once you start having more liquidity and more cash at hand to invest. So for the most accessible option, both in terms of capital and also if you don't have the most privileged access into startups in the world, would be joining a angel community and start writing checks alongside other angels. Okay. So many places have angel groups that invest together, like New York Angels or South Florida Angels, or alumni networks that invest together. And this is a possibility. But if you don't know any and you're not geographically situated in a place that would favor you into that, don't worry. There are also other great ways to start doing this. And
Okay,
yeah.
as far as I know that there is an angel group in Paris, and typically just to invest in one startup, they require 5,000 euros.
Yeah.
Which is nothing.
That's significant money. Yeah, that's significant money, but a bit more accessible than the $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah. But
okay,
that's not nothing.
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No worries. And but you're seeing that the ticket size changes a lot, but it's still, and it will always be serious money. So I have $20 here left. Can I start doing venture investments? No, but invest this money elsewhere and make it grow before you think of allocating this into the venture asset class a bit more. But and I would say that the minimum check that you can start writing, investing in companies and picking and choosing would be at least $1,000.
Okay.
So and the place I suggest everyone to go to would be AngelList. Okay. So AngelList was born. It's a very fun story. Its founder was Naval Ravikant, and it was born out of a list, an email list that he had once he wanted to invest into Uber in the very, very early days. He wanted to invest with more people to have a more significant check. So he sent an email to his friends that were also angel investors, and it became the AngelList. And once he understood that, oh, there are many people that want to enter the angel list that I'm running here, then it became a company and a product of its own. And nowadays, I don't know how many active angel investors there are there, but I think at least 5,000 really active investors you can find there. And the way that the platform works is one person is the leader of a deal. And let's say, Guillaume, that you find an interesting company and you talk to the entrepreneur loves you and he wants you close to the company, but you don't have, let's say, $200,000 to invest in the company and to have a meaningful participation there. And then you go to AngelList. You should actually be in the platform before, but suppose that you are on AngelList, you can open your own syndicate. And in your syndicate, you invite people to co-invest with you in the opportunities that you source yourself. Like you found that very interesting company, you sourced the opportunity. And we have here an allocation of $200,000. And then you say how much money you have available to invest. And the minimum is always $1,000. The more, the better, but many angel investors are still broke because liquidity takes time. They're rich on paper, but they're broke in terms of actual cash liquidity. And so you find the allocation, you say, I'm investing $1,000, the minimum check. So I have $199,000 left here for whoever wants to invest with me in this company. And then you create a memorandum, like a document, a business case of why you love the company with your own words. You make the projections and you list the pros and cons, the risks, the opportunities. And you post it to your syndicate followers. So the people who follow you on your syndicate. And whoever wants to invest writes a check and invests alongside you. The cool part there is that the incentives are very well aligned in the sense of since you source the deal, you are the person who is closer to the founder and you presented the opportunity to everyone. You actually charge a fee for everyone who is co-investing with you. And what is typically charged there, I would say that 99% of the people charge the same thing, would be 20% carried interest. And what carried interest means is once the company returns, and if it's a great investment, let's say your syndicate invested $200,000 and the company returned 10x the amount that you've invested. So that stake became worth $2 million. Great, everyone's happy. And so there is $1,800,000 in profits. So you give back first the 200 initial money, and then 1,800,000 in profit. And from that profit, the carried interest is your commission. So just if it returns. And
so
then
actually,
it's typically,
that's kind of like venture capitalists with their own institutional investors, because I've heard that venture capitalists get compensated in two different streams. They have management fees, which can amount to about 2% or perhaps some a bit more. And they have carried interest, which can also vary between 15 to 25%, sometimes 30%. So that's the same thing here. Is that correct?
That's correct. In terms of carry, most of the people charge 20%, but the management fee is most people don't charge a management fee. Investors in the platform.
Most people as in venture capitalist or business angels on AngelList?
Business leads on AngelList.
Okay, that makes sense. Perfect, great.
Yeah. So that's the tradition and costume of the platform. And if investors see a management fee, some of them become wary and they don't like to invest.
Right,
So
that makes a lot of sense. Now, how do you
yeah,
find those great startups? Because I'm guessing these are startups that have never raised any capital. Is that correct or not?
no, not necessarily. There, at least on AngelList, you'll find all sorts of opportunities from the very early stages until, I don't know, pre-IPO opportunities from from employees that have stock option and want to sell them prior to a liquidity event. And in order to find those startups, then the tactics and strategies vary a lot.
Okay.
So there are people that, as you've said, go to Y Combinator pitches and talk to all entrepreneurs there. But if you attend to a Y Combinator demo day, you will have lots of competition of other venture capitalists talking to the entrepreneurs. So this is very crowded, and that's very obvious. And I would say that the best way to do that, to have great opportunities, is to be very have clarity in what you can add to early stage startups or even late stage startups, and get close to these founders and adding value, helping them, assisting them for free without asking for anything, just to build that relationship with one founder. And then one founder introduces you to other founders, and you keep helping them and building relationship and other founders. And some of them, once they're about to raise, they want to have you closer or more aligned with the company. Like, I'd love to have more love from Guillaume because he's helping with my restructuring here. He's super well connected, and he can connect me with great enterprise companies. He can connect me to customers, whatever. So what can I do to have him have more skin in the game with me? And then you both get into an agreement of an opportunity to invest in the company. And even though you're not investing with your own money, if you lead a deal on AngelList, it is as if it was your money, because you're incentivized in the company's success. Because in that case of a company that provided 10x return, the 20% carry for you would be $60,000 return.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So thanks to you, I've just made $360,000, Gustavo. So first of all, I want to thank you. I'll go celebrate
Awesome.
after our conversation.
Invite me,
I'm
please.
getting that I've turned in from a broke BA to a wealthy BA. Is that correct? Thanks to your help. Now,
yeah, now you have more money, you have more liquidity.
So what happens? What's the next step after that?
Next step. So one thing that you can start doing is, instead of only putting $1,000 into those syndicate deals, you can fill in the whole allocation, because now you have $360,000. So you can fill in the whole 200,000, and you write the contract direct with the company, and you don't present the opportunity to anyone else on AngelList, for example.
Okay, now could I ask you a question? Because if we were wealth managers, you would say that you would want to diversify your risk. So you would not sign one check of $200,000. You would sign 200 checks of $1,000 in 200 different startups. Or maybe you would do that for 100 startups and for a $2,000 check. So is there something to be said about allocation, financial allocation in between? Is there what's the best between investing a lot in just one startup versus investing in smaller amounts in multiple startups? Where's the right balance?
You touched on a very great point, and you're right on that. You should never, if you have 360 available, you should never write a $200,000 check, because the risks in this asset class are enormous, and the more the diversified that you can get, the better, especially in the beginning, that you're still testing your thesis and how good of an investor you are. And since the returns take a long time, you will take at least 5-10 years of learnings before you know that you are a good investor or you're not a good investor. So my advice in the first 5-10 years is don't you ever concentrate your bets.
Okay.
But investing in 200 startups at once, that's a hell lot of work. Like, you need to, if you want to go deep on those startups, you will need to invest a lot of time, either talking to the founders or researching and reading materials or so. So you need to find your own balance in terms of how much time you have yearly to analyze new opportunities.
Okay.
And how much time you still invest in the companies you invested in the past, because they're still ongoing, and many of them just accepted you as an investor because you promised to help them. And that's the role of an angel. Is really to be on the side of the entrepreneur, helping them. And you need to calculate some of these two things and see how many hours and how much more work you can put on every year, and start writing checks according to your risk appetite.
That makes sense. Okay, good. So let me try to summarize our discussion.
Do it.
I began by saying that a friend of mine who is a business angel in Silicon Valley told me that to invest in a Y Combinator startup, the minimum ticket was $1 million. So I wondered how you could become a BA when you're broke, because I'm broke. So you said $1 million is indeed a lot. You could either join a regional group, the New York City Angel Group, or South Florida group, or another group in another region, or alumni. But for example, in Paris, the minimum check is 5,000 euros in the Paris Business Angel Group, PBA. So you mentioned AngelList was started by a person who wanted to invest in Uber, and you mentioned his name. What was his name?
Naval.
Is that N-A? Yeah.
V-A-L.
N-A-V-A-L.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a philosopher, let's say. No,
that's his last name.
No, that's his first name. And his last name is Ravikant. R-A-V-I-K-A-N-T.
Okay. Naval Ravikant. He's the founder of AngelList, and he wanted to invest in Uber, but was broke. So he sent out an email to a lot of potential business angels, and a list of business angels to see if they want to invest with him. And I'm guessing the number did. He was surprised by the number of returns he got. So he created a platform called AngelList. And on this platform, basically the minimum check is $1,000. There are about 5,000 active investors today, business angels. And there's one person that will be leading a specific deal to invest, for example, $200,000. This person will invest at least $1,000 out of his own pocket. And then we'll be looking for more capital with coming from other business angels. And once he gets to the $200,000, he can invest, and he'll be representing that capital in the eyes of the founder. Now, you also mentioned the fact that what's important is to be, when you're a business angel, is to have make a meaningful contribution to founders so that they want to associate with you. And so they will create a cap table when they'll give you shares or sell you shares. because that's a way for them to embark you upon their journey. We talked about when you make a lot of money, for example, $360,000 after you've 10x'd one investment, if you should invest in one startup, the amount or that amount, or if you should break up the amount into multiple investments. That's actually there's a right balance to be chosen. Depends on the workload, the availability, and all of that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Let me think real quick. So I think those are the most democratic steps into becoming a business angel. I think, and you're a master at summarizing things. And once people really start getting liking this idea, and then the next steps would be, oh, how do I go from being a syndicate lead or a professional angel into becoming into having my own investment vehicle and starting my own fund.
That's actually good, because that will be the topic of our next conversation, because you've created your own fund, Gustavo. And so then our next discussion will be on starting a venture capital fund.
Yeah, that would be an interesting topic.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you very soon to continue our conversation.
Let's do it. Thank you, Guillaume.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.